What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, the only mask channel that has absolutely not seen Jay Weinberg's new mask. Nope. Not me. I didn't even know Jay Weinberg had a new mask. I definitely don't follow him, and I absolutely did not make a video giving my thoughts on that new mask just a few days ago. I really wish someone had tagged me in those photos so I knew that Jay Weinberg had a new mask. Oh well, maybe next time. And today's video is a special video, and I'm pretty excited to get this out to you guys because I think it's a cool concept. So for the last few years on Instagram, people have been doing their best 9 of whatever year it is at the end of the year. So I started to see the best 9 2019 posts, and I thought, who gives a shit what pictures are the most liked? Normally they're stupid pictures anyways. So I decided to create something for our little community and do the best 9 scores of the year. So I created this little collage over here, and that is, in my opinion, my top 9 scores of 2019, and I encouraged others in the community to do so, and I saw it take off, and it was pretty cool. So that gave me the idea to do a top scores of 2019 video and go into detail a little bit further, so we're going to be doing my top 10 scores of 2019 here today. This video is probably going to be a little bit lengthy, so sit back, get the lotion, and enjoy. Alright, so my number 1 score, hands down, has to be my stage-used Violence Has Arrived Guar Jizmac mask and chest plate. And I'm just now realizing that maybe I should be doing this list from lowest to highest, but you know what? It's my channel. Fuck you. We're doing number 1 first, and this one is a big deal. If you guys saw the unboxing on this, I gave you every single little detail that I could think of as to why this is such a special piece to me. But for the sake of the length of this video, I'll just go ahead and touch on some highlights real quick. Number 1, Guar is my all-time favorite band, tied with Slipknot. Pretty much everything about Guar is perfect to me. The various music styles, the blood, the humor, the looks. You name it, and Guar has probably done it perfect in my opinion. Secondly, I'm a drummer. This is the drummer's mask. I feel like Jizmac is one of the most underrated drummers in metal. Number 3, Violence Has Arrived is pretty much the album that saved Guar for me and tons of other fans. They were going off in a direction that not many people, including the band, were crazy about, and when they came back with Violence Has Arrived, everyone rejoiced. It was metal as fuck, it was brutal, heavy, gross, it was just a really good fucking album. And that set them on a path that continued for quite a while, where every album got heavier and heavier, more and more technical, just gooder. So I had been after this piece for like 10 years, and my buddy finally agreed to sell it to me, and this was the most expensive piece I had ever purchased, so that's kind of a big deal. I won't tell you guys exactly how much I paid for this, but I will say that I'm currently working on scoring another stage-used item, not Guar related, that is going to cost slightly more than this piece here cost me. But yeah, top score of 2019, hands down, my stage-used Violence Has Arrived Guar Jizmac mask and chest plate. Definitely a special one. Alright, next up in the number 2 spot, we have some more special stage-used pieces. This actually came to me as a combination, so I just kept them together on display, and I'm considering them one item. Now, as most of you guys know, I have been pushing Portal in my videos. Why can't I speak words good? Now, as most of you guys know, I've been pushing Portal pretty hard in my videos this year. I've known about Portal for quite some time. I think probably 2012 is when I discovered them. But their music was a bit too much for me back then. I had not dived into more hardcore stuff like that yet. I just was not at that point in my life. But their imagery always stuck out to me. And a little earlier this year, I rediscovered Portal and started to get into them and really had a new appreciation for the music, as well as a bigger appreciation for their aesthetic. So I think I ended up making a post about them on Instagram saying that this is just a friendly reminder that Portal is the scariest band on the planet. That post blew up, and I got hundreds of comments and messages saying thank you for introducing me to Portal, which I thought was fucking rad. So then I ended up shooting an entire video about the scariest band in the world, specifically talking about the Curator's looks, and that video kind of took off as well, and a friend of mine ended up introducing me to the Curator, and me and the Curator hit it off and ended up becoming internet best friends. And I was lucky enough to receive a care package with quite a few items in it, and these 2 items were the big 2 out of the package. We have a stage-used hood that was used throughout various touring cycles. It was used for multiple looks, and it's pretty fucking dank. And then we also have the tendrils. So anytime you see a picture of the Curator with tentacles on his fingers, these are the ones, and that is just a big fucking deal to me, and I'm super, super happy with it. My plan was to display these both individually, but me and Kate ended up throwing this box together, and I think it looks fucking awesome, so I'm keeping it like this forever, I think. And yeah, this package just led me down a rabbit hole. I ended up scoring some other stage used stuff. I got a stage used Elogium mask. I got a Blast Figurehead replica, and I'm currently working on a life-size Curator, and there's just been other little random scores here and there, and I do plan on making a Portal collection video eventually when I feel that I have enough stuff that it'll make a complete video and I'm not waiting on so much. There's a lot of Portal stuff in the works right now. I'm having the hat worked on. I've got a figure coming in. We got the life-sized, and actually I ordered another hat earlier this week, so there's a lot of Portal stuff coming. Definitely excited with that, but this one transitions us right into our next one, which is number 3, and that is going to be the Blast Figurehead. While this isn't my personal favorite Curator look, it is probably the most iconic. It's the classic Curator look. Everybody that thinks of Portal and knows who Portal is thinks of the clock head. So finally getting a hold of one of these is pretty fucking rad. It is definitely an eye catcher in the room, and I'm just very satisfied to finally have one. A lot of time and work went into this one, and I think that's why it's the best replica. Curator even told me that he likes mine more than he likes his own. Pretty fucking wild. And this is still a work in progress. There are some things that I need to do to it to finish it out. There is some artwork on the side that I had no idea what it was because there wasn't a clear enough photo to tell. But the guitarist of Portal actually told me what it was and gave me the file, so I need to add that. And there's some little random weathering marks that I'm going to have to add that I wasn't going to have the artist worry about because it's something that I would rather do myself. But for the most part, you guys get the idea. So the Blast Figurehead was definitely a special one when it came in, and that is why it is number 3. Next up, number 4. Oh my god, we finally have a Slipknot mask on the list.
You just made the list!
This is my 3rd vintage West German clown in the collection at the moment, but I think this is like my 6th or 7th vintage clown overall. And this one stands out amongst the others for multiple reasons. The reason this one made the list and the other one that I scored this year did not is because this is the only one I've ever found in the wild. I found this mask for $2 on Facebook Marketplace. I did end up giving the guy a little bit more just because he went through the hassle of shipping it, and obviously I wanted to cover the shipping and give him a little more for doing that for me. But all in all, I think it was like a $25 transaction. So every other vintage clown I've ever had in my set has come from another collector, so I paid collector prices. Typically always on the low end of collector prices, which is cool, but you can't beat a mask like this. So not only is this the only vintage West German clown that I've ever found in the wild, this is also one of the most gorgeous copies I've ever seen ever. This has got to be a top 2 or 3 vintage West German clowns out there. And I can only think of 2 other copies that have this type of paint job, so it's definitely the best copy that I've ever owned. So this is number 4 because it's the first one I've ever found in the wild and because of how it looks. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous mask. Alright, coming in at number 5, we finally have some Buckethead stuff on the list, and I believe that this is probably my biggest Buckethead score of the year, and that was because it was a package deal. There were 2 other buckets involved, a 90s KFC bucket and a real 83 Caesar, which everybody knows is the creme de la creme of Buckethead collecting. Both of these items are probably the most sought after pieces if you are a Buckethead collector. This one has extra value if you're a Slipknot collector as well, because Buckethead wore this and Joey Jordison wore this for the first 2 album cycles.
You can find the same mask at Party City for $5. Those aren't rare.
No, you can't. But I do wish that I had $1 for every fucking idiot that commented that on my Buckethead and Slipknot mask videos. These masks are extremely rare. These were produced by a company called Caesar, and they were made in 1983. Hence, 83 Caesars. These have a very, very specific shape, a very specific look, and pretty much the closest to these that you can get these days are a recast from an artist that has one of these and has a vacuum form machine and does all that shit, which I think there's only 2 people on the market offering those, and they go for $50 each. A real 83, you're going to be paying upwards of $125, maybe even close to $200 if you can find one. These are not the Party City masks. They don't really look anything like them aside from being white male face masks. If you were to set one of these next to a Party City mask, an 86 Caesar, or a 2015 Disguise mask, you would clearly see the differences. This is a lot crisper, it's a lot sleeker, everything on it is a lot sharper, and it's definitely just a better looking piece. So, if you're going to leave a stupid comment like that, don't. And then next up we have this 90s KFC bucket, and the reason that I can count these together is because, like I said earlier, they came in one package, and it was from a fellow Buckethead collector, so clearly he took very good care of this bucket. Since I started making Buckethead content back in 2012 or 2013, posted my first 90s KFC bucket, which I got for $75 on eBay. These things have fucking skyrocketed. You will not pay less than $400 or $500 for these, and that's when they come up. Very, very scarce. I've obviously dedicated more videos to Buckethead Buckethead as of late, scoring this 90s KFC bucket this year as well as a plethora of other buckets, and I definitely think that that has helped the Buckethead collector's market because wow, these things have literally torn people's friendships apart. And the unbelievable thing, whether you see it as funny or sad or both, is that these are trash. Literal fried chicken buckets. Millions of these went into the garbage. Now they're out here for sale for $500 and tearing relationships apart. So I got mine before all the drama, and I think I only paid $100 for the bucket and $50 for the mask, and he gave me the other stuff as gifts. So that was pretty cool. I got in before the drama, and now I have a bucket for the bucket shelf and a bucket on my life-size display. So I'm happy. Number 5, Buckethead items. Alright guys, next up at number 6 we have this Iowa Craig rotting version. This was done by Daniel over at Drop Bear Studios, and honestly I don't know why this one made the list.
You know what? You know what? You just made the list!
I just really fucking love this mask. Daniel definitely channeled his greatest artistry into this thing, and I definitely think that it shows. And it's funny because when you see the photos of this mask being worn by Craig, it really looks stupid, but in person this thing is mean and intimidating and gross and very authentic looking. And I don't know, just definitely changed my mind about the mask itself seeing this one in person. I also think this one's on the list because I was the first one to have this version made. It's hard enough to find good Iowa Craigs. Obviously Daniel offered a very, very good Iowa Craig, and I already had the clean and the weathered version, and I'd never seen someone attempt to do the Freddy vs. Jason rotting version, so I asked Daniel if he'd be interested, and he was, and he fucking knocked it out of the park. Did absolutely phenomenal, and I think it's very special when somebody can make you like a mask through a replica of the mask. Definitely wasn't crazy about the original, and like I said, having this one has definitely changed my mind. I very much love this thing, so simple enough. Next up, number 7 was a score that was in the hands of many of my friends, so it was a combined effort to get this piece done. First of all, this is a Vintage Distortions zombie beheaded prop, aka Herbie. This is one of many different versions of Buckethead's little puppet friend that he carries around and uses to speak for him. Like I said, it is a Distortions piece, and my good friend Ed, the legend that he is, owner of Distortions, sold this to Douglas Little while Douglas Little was visiting the Distortions headquarters out in Colorado. Douglas offered it to me, and then I had my friend Peter Hudgens finish it out like Buckethead's Rotten Vegetable version, and yeah, it's just a really pretty piece. So I think this was the first Rotten Vegetable Herbie replica out there. Peter definitely killed the paint and the finish work on this thing, and I am stoked to have it in the collection. So yeah, a mixture between what it is. Obviously I love Herbie. I think Herbie's one of the coolest things in the entire world. The fact that it is a vintage cast, and the fact that so many of my friends were involved in making this score happen. I definitely think it deserved to be on the list.
You just made the list!
And a huge thank you to everybody that was involved. Thank you Ed, thank you Douglas, and thank you Peter. Next up, getting close to the end with number 7, we have an original, still tagged from Goodwill, Paper Magic Group Ghost Glow, and this is a grail for many Slipknot collectors. This is just a very rare old mask that was used by Slipknot. Obviously, Corey Taylor used this to convert into his second mask during the self-titled era, and a lot of collectors just really fucking love this thing. Aesthetically, it's not one of my favorites. I have grown to appreciate the mask over the years. I know a few years ago, before I had an original, I was definitely not into them at all. I still prefer the dummy, but it's very cool to score a Ghost Glow. There is no other feeling like scoring a Ghost Glow. And for some reason, these things come from Goodwills left and right. So typically, if you see a collector score one, and he didn't get it from another collector, it has come from a Goodwill. I don't know why, that's just the way that it goes.
That's just the way it is.
I've scored multiple this year, but this was the prettiest out of them, so just like the vintage, I picked the prettiest copy, and that is why this one is on the list.
You just made the list!
I think this is probably my 5th or 6th Ghost Glow in my collection, but I only have 3 as of right now. I did end up selling another copy earlier this year to help purchase that Jizmac. I had somebody that was extremely interested in obtaining an original Ghost Glow, and honestly, I don't need as many as I had. So I was trying to help someone else and help myself, and I think that it worked out well. I still have some beautiful copies, and I still have multiple copies. What'd I say? Number 7 Ghost Glow? I think this is number 7. Maybe it's number 8. I don't fucking remember. Professional YouTuber. This is number 8. Pretty certain I said number 7. We're at number 8. Original Ghost Glow. On to number 9. Alright, number 9 on my list
You just made the list!
comes from a place of sentimental value. We have an AHG small-eyed Myers mask, and Halloween 4 was actually the first Michael Myers film that I ever saw. So clearly there is a lot of nostalgia and sentimentality, and when I finally was able to get my hands on a small-eyed copy, I was super fucking happy. AHG has been absolutely killing these things. The sculpt is perfect, the finish is perfect, the mask looks fucking great, and I really have a thing for the small-eyed version. This was used in some of the creepier scenes and some of the cooler deaths, like the shotgun impalement and choking Brady out and breaking his neck with his bare hands, so I just think that it's a very cool mask. I definitely think that the mask has a way cooler look with the smaller eyes on it. These aren't as small as they were in the pharmacy scene in Vincent's drugstore when he reaches over and grabs it off of the shelf, and clearly they're not as big as they are in some scenes of the movie where they have fully cut them out to their largest size, but this is right in the middle, and I think that it is the coolest look of the film. So yeah, I was definitely happy to get my hands on this copy. Definitely one of my favorite Myers masks in general, and definitely one of my favorite Myers masks in my collection. I think all collectors have those pieces where nostalgia plays a big part into why you like it so much, so this may not be cool to you at all. It may not even be cool in general, but it is definitely cool to me, and I am super, super happy to have it, and that is why it is number 9 on my top scores of 2019. Now I have 2 that are tied for 10th place, so we'll just call these both honorable mentions. First off, we have that H5 vintage West German Brutal Guy mask that I just scored not too long ago, simply for the fact that I've been after one of those for so fucking long, and that copy is gorgeous. I think everybody in the game was like, wow, that's the best copy when I posted it, and I agree. I definitely think that it is just the best all-around copy I've ever seen. The paint on it is flawless. You would not think that that's a 40-year-old mask. And secondly, we have the Curator's headdress. This is a key factor in my favorite all-around Curator look. This weird old hag squid princess thing. I don't really know what the look is, but it speaks to me deeply, and I fucking love it, and I was actually given permission by the curator to have the company that made his original one make me the same exact one. Initially, when I contacted them, they said that they only do custom pieces for one person and that every piece is going to be individual. I explained to her who I was, like what exactly I do, and why I wanted the piece, and said with the curator's permission she would be happy to make the headdress for me. So we worked it out, and I was given permission, and I have the hat now, and I'm working on a life-size figure of that exact look, and I think it's going to be fucking awesome. So those 2 are tied for 10th or runner-ups, however you guys want to look at it, and that is my list for top scores of 2019.
You just made the list!
If you guys are able, I would love to see your top 9 scores. So either drop those in the comments below or just go all out and make a video yourself. That's going to be it for me here at the House of Masks. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Say no to drugs and alcohol, and until next time, we will see you later.